So welcome again to everybody from all around the world, and again a thank you for being part of this, because it's all of us coming together that create this energy network all around the earth, and that in itself creates a community, which is an invitation. It seeds that opportunity for everybody to feel a sense of community, and that is one of the things that we're not necessarily feeling, because a lockdown situation separates us. Even if we go to the shops, people feel very separate, etc. So to acknowledge that you have dedicated this time and dedicated yourself, your energy to this time, and to thank you for doing that, and to invite everybody to also just send out this thank you to everybody else. So I'm going to take a screenshot of where we are now, and trust that everybody that's on this front is happy to be on that. Oh no, that didn't work. That did. Good. Okay. So I never know what would be, I was saying to the group that we got together earlier for a chat, that one of the things that I miss is actually being in another level of connection with everybody, and how I can make a comment and talk, and I scan everybody's faces, and they're still the same, just looking at the screen. It's like, hello, are you a person there? I really appreciate your being animated and and responding, and I can ask a question and I can make a comment, and I don't know what you know, and I don't know what you want to know. And that was a real revelation in our chat, in our talk together. I said, I've been on a group meeting this afternoon connected to Simon Parkes, and and then I said, anybody heard of Simon Parkes? No, but nobody asked. It's like, who's that? Please at the end, please bring your questions, and just because you sat on your own in your space, invite you to really feel as connected as you can, and then I will feel that you're connected, and we'll all feel more connected, and to really connect to what I'm saying. So I never really know what is good, what's appropriate to talk about, usually until the morning. And so by Thursday, I'm thinking, what is it that I should be saying? I haven't got any clues as to what would be the right thing to talk about. And then Saturday comes, and I think, oh goodness, and then Sunday morning comes, and it just unfolds. And really, it's about carrying on from what I said last week. I mean, there was an email that I got that was the first trigger to actually take me down a particular path. So that's always helpful, and I'm grateful for that. So what I want to actually continue is this level of consciousness that we in the Merkaba workshop talk about and recognize, which is termed the 5th level light body, or the 6th level light body. It's that kind of area. So in this in the paradigm, when we get a sense that we're actually walking a path, that we're actually going somewhere, that we're at a certain level of understanding, spiritual development, whatever, and we're going somewhere, which is a false paradigm, but a useful paradigm, and it's an archetype, and most people do it to a great extent, or perhaps a lesser extent. And these milestones along the way, from addiction to material things to being an enlightened being, is divided up into 12/13 levels of light body. So and different people have different ways of talking about it. So if you've read up about this and you've researched it, and I'm terming them slightly differently. There are different ways of talking about it, but I would suggest that we're talking about the same thing. So first level light body is totally within the personality. It's totally that's a total identity of self, and there's no idea that there could be anything else. I am as important and of value. Sorry, just need to. That I am as important, and my value as something that exists is determined by the university degrees that I've got, how successful I am at in my work. Have I had promotion? How many friends have I got? What's my clothes like? How much do I earn? All of these are the ways that the personality expresses itself, and its value, and its what's important, and the way, you know, am I a singer? Am I an artist? What am I? And it scrambles for these things. It wants the next iPhone. It wants the bigger television. It wants the promotion. It wants the new dress. It wants the nail varnish. It wants. Okay, and that when at some point it is possible that addiction starts to lessen. It starts to weaken, and there's a perception that there might be other things that are more important, that to go for a walk in the countryside, to have a pet and feel the love for an animal, to research information. These things might become more important. And there comes one day when walking around the streets or whatever, and going to a bookshop and end up on the aisle that has spiritual books, and there's a book that intuitively attracts us, and intuition has come in now for the first time. Not just mind, I want, and this is, you know, I've assessed this of value. The intuition and inspiration come in, and just instinctively pick up a book and start reading it, and oh goodness, there's, you know, my value isn't just how much money I earn and how big my car is. There's other things that are important. And when in that process of transition, which comes to a crux at 5th, 6th level light body, when this oscillation between the left brain, logical mind, valuing, referencing the past and creating criteria and creating values of things, and then the intuitive one that's inspired and everything's magical, you know, how they can war against one another. When that is going on, another aspect of that is that as the ego as we let go of that 3D identity value system, the ego doesn't want to let go, and it finds another definition for its worth. So it then, the classic one is, I am a clairvoyant, I am a tarot reader, I am a healer, and that becomes the ego-driven value. And it's a spiritual valuation, and it is still an ego posturing. It's the same thing. How big's my car? I'm very clairvoyant. It's just another ego stance. And what is happening, and this is the alarm bell, we're going into a time when everything is being challenged, and it is possibly a time when people are going to look more for some spiritual reason behind existence, behind who they are, behind what's going on in the world. And we are in a time which is very ripe for ego healers to sell their wares. Okay, I hope you've heard me. That this is if there's a demand for a product, then that market will attract a broad spectrum of people within that market. And because of this 5th, 6th level light body that so many people are in, the ego will hang on to a definition of self. And I am a healer. I am whatever, in whatever way that might be. It will become more and more prevalent. So what I want to flag up is how to discern a true helper, a true supporter of our spiritual growth. And I'm trying to avoid the word healer because it's so loaded as a definition. If this is just a broad stroke definition, and I just invite you to use your own intuition and your own reasoning and ask really basic questions. If somebody claims they can do something for you, that's abuse. That is not supporting you. That is not connecting you. That is not fulfilling the first law of healing, which is a reconnection to soul self. It's disempowering and it's cruel. If anyone claims they can do something for you, oh, I can take that away, I can connect you to this, I can make that go away. Because every true healing is something that we step into. And the role of anyone else is only to facilitate us stepping into our birthright. Now, a lot of models of so-called healing is, I've got something, I've been attuned to something, I've got a skill, you've got a problem, I'll sort you. And anything that creates a concept that the healer has something special and can sort somebody else out, well, there's lots of words I could use to describe that posturing. It's not kind, it's not spiritual, it's not loving, it's not respectful, it's not supportive. And it can feel lovely, you know, somebody, oh, I can have an appointment with so-and-so, and they can, they have all ways of calling in this and arranging crystals like this and whatever. And yeah, it'll take it away. Now, there is a very subtle caveat to that. When we are in a box, and this is basic self-awareness stuff, or even business, you know, people that go to business seminars, etc., to empower themselves to create better businesses, you know, it's the same kind of stuff. When we're in a particular reality, we have a definition of how the world works. That is the box that we're in. And often we do need a helping hand to get out of the box. This is in conferences, this is called, because when you're in your box, you don't know what's out of the box. So nobody knows what they don't know. Nobody knows what they don't know. So everything that you don't know you don't know it. So I'm not saying we never need a helping hand, and I'm not saying that we never seek help, because someone who is not in our box can see what we can't see. But in that case, that healer will connect in consciousness and and be congruent and aware of your soul, your soul's agenda, your soul's need. And that is in an angelic Reiki healing, this is the reason for the first part, that conversation, to create a resonance in that healing space through the questions that are asked and that's shared, so that the soul, in speaking what we want and speaking what help we need, we're actually communicating the soul's desire. That's the prayer for the healing. And when that is heard, and those two resonances, consciousnesses, come together, then the healer is answering the soul's call. It's not coming from their agenda. Because we cannot know. So I just thought, when I was kind of thinking about what to actually share. So as you probably, quite a few of you know, I practiced as a homeopath in the 90s, from 90 through to just 2001. And there's a classic situation that I want to share. So with the job of a homeopath is to find a natural remedy that will give the helping hand out of the box. Okay, so it's something from nature, and that might be a tree or a flower, a rock, a crystal, a metal, anything. It can be anything on the periodic table. It can be anything. So there's this particular person that booked an appointment with me, and I'm just telling this story to try and communicate to you how much we do not know, what somebody else needs, what somebody else is asking for. We really have to take ourselves out of it. We do not know. And luckily, when you're practicing as homeopath, you don't need to know. So there was this particular person that asked for a homeopathic appointment, and she was a nurse. And what she said that her issue was, what she'd come for a remedy for, was her headaches. So, obviously, you write down, or one can write down lots of notes, do quite a detailed interview, really. So obviously that went down in my notes, and lots of things that told me about who she was and her idiosyncrasies and her energy and her nature. Wrote all of those down, and I then gave her the homeopathic remedy. She came back in a month's time, and kind of said, "How are you?" And she said, "Oh, well, I've decided to tell them when I can't go." I said, "Oh, can you just explain more and how your headaches?" And she said, "What headaches?" She wasn't in a headache box anymore. They weren't part of her reality. And she said, I now tell them when I can't go." I said, "What do you mean?" And in the conversation, the remedy, what she was really asking for, was the ability to stand up against authority. Her headaches were due to the stress because she'd taken promotion, and the person in charge of the doctors or the wards or whatever would organize meetings, but her heart was in nursing. She wanted to be with the patients in the ward, but some authority person would organize meetings that she didn't want to go to, and she didn't know how to say no. So she dutifully went along, and it was that stress in betraying who she really was. That's what she was suffering from. Headaches were just the physical manifestation of that. And it wasn't my business to try and work that out. So we never know, but we can we can get a sense of what someone's saying, but allow our prayer, their prayer, and our prayer, and the presence of the angelic kingdom to be that interface, the remedy, that trigger that can bring. She realized that she had to stand up for herself. I didn't say, which people often do. They'll do a healing session and they might also, include a card or a reading or something and say, well, you need to stand up for yourself more. That's utter arrogance to tell somebody else what they should be doing. True healing is holding a space that connects with our own soul, connects that person or ourselves, if doing a self-healing, with our wisdom. That's an awakening. So be aware of enthusiastic doers. It'll sort all sorts out for you. Okay? And you'll probably end up with a headache, not cure one. So that's the other side of this fifth, sixth level light body, this flip of the ego identity to a spiritual identity. And the people who are most addicted to their spiritual identity are people that are working in the fourth dimension. And, right, wrong, what is just a fact, which are, clairvoyance, tarot. Not to say I'm not saying any of that is right or wrong. I'm just saying that is the place which seems to create the greatest addiction to some kind of spiritual skills. And in the East, these spiritual skills, which might be like Sai Baba, manifest a gold watch, Vibhuti, to see something, see the past, see the future, levitate, whatever, they are known as the trap. They're known as siddhis, and they're traps. So spiritual abilities are only important to the ego. They're of no consequence. So you can levitate. And, okay? So don't get caught into your own spiritual brownie, plus points. When especially help, see, us humans are also so deeply programmed and true and rightly in a way, to be loving, supporting and caring of other people. We want to help, and it's a fine line between just holding a hand to support somebody walking their path and actually carrying them on your, where one thinks they should go.